My name is Gerard. Rego, I head our ecosystem for Nokia in India. I've been with Nokia and the company for, I think, 13 years and 3 months. 13 years as a consumer, and 3 months as an employee and a consumer. And it's been a great experience for me to take that 13 years of being a consumer and actually drive what we're doing to companies like Nokia and Microsoft and Google and everybody else here in the room is extraordinary. It reminds me of what happened in the Silicon Valley some time ago. Because I think the scale of opportunity in India is so large that everybody I talk to around the world is asking me one question: how can we partner with you to come to India? And I meet a lot of people asking me, what can I build that I can do in the US or Europe? And I tell them, you have to stand on the road and look at the scale of opportunity. It's around you. So today at Nokia, what we want to talk about is what we're trying to do. But let me tell you something very startling. There was a research done by Tellerno and Deloitte. And they figure out from their research that if a city, district, country, or anyone had more than 10% mobile penetration, it contributed to more than 1% of GDP. If Nokia has over 300 or plus million phones in the country, it just tells you we're part of the GDP. That is an extraordinary piece of data. But why did this happen? I think we often, if you step back, you often forget India missed the mainframe revolution. We missed the PC revolution. We missed the internet revolution. We went straight to the mobile revolution. So for India, or countries like India, China, Brazil, you go on, the Phonebook is the Facebook. Very important to understand that. Because we didn't have these three revolutions. And at Nokia, we realized that. But why do we have over 650 million people in India that use mobile phones? Because the mobile did something very interesting. It connected people. Right? For example, I tell the story all the time. I have a maid. She's got 2 phones. She uses one for her personal family and friends. And the other one she uses is for business. So to me and to her, we're conducting business, right? So she calls me and says, okay, I'm coming home at 10 o'clock in the morning. Are you going to be there? If I say no, she says, fine, I'll go to the next market. So the mobile changed the way people connected to markets. It made it accessible because the economics just made sense. And that's why I think we believe in Nokia that India represents such an incredible opportunity. And we helped create the first mobile industry, if you may, in India, possibly in the world. We want to take this to the 2.0, and we'll talk about it. But let's talk about the last 20 years. If you understand the entire mobile revolution of the last 20 years, it was kind of exciting. And I think the last 5 or 6, you must thank really this one guy we all recognize, Steve Jobs. He understood that if I can unbundle content, if I can unbundle products, that would create the greatest economic engine. And it did. But today, I think if everyone's sitting in the room, I'm often asked the question, hey, Gerard, what kind of app do I build? And my answer to them is build a business, not an app. I've been an entrepreneur twice over. I'm in the process of being part of the team where we're buying back the equity from our investors. So I'm still on the board of directors and will continue to serve on the board of directors. An idea I started at Stanford, 2005, 2006. And when I quit my job as the CEO or the head of the world's largest engineering software company in India, it never struck me for a second to quit my job and start a company. Because when you start a company as an entrepreneur, you're thinking, how can I take my passion and my ideas and build a business out of it? The mobile just took that multiple times. It changed the way anyone, I was talking to a group of students before I came here in the morning, and I told them, and she said, and he said, I'm looking to get a job in about 1.5 years when I graduate out of engineering school. I said, you don't have to wait. You can do it now. So what we want to do at Nokia is understand this. Just look at these numbers. They're staggering. How big in the tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars is the market in India? We launched Nokia Music Unlimited, 4 million inventory of songs in a database. And today, our data is through the roof. Being a public company, we can't disclose unless it's public data. But let me tell you, it is so large that the operator traffic today, a vast majority of that is ours in 3 months. So that's the scale of potential that you have in India. And it's not what's happening in the US, it's not what's happening in Europe. But there's one thing very important, and I'm often also asked the second question, Gerard, should I build on Microsoft or should I build on Android or Apple? I tell them one thing, hang on a second. You're the entrepreneur. You build where you believe is your best return on capital. We're not going to come and pressurize you to build A or B or C because you're the entrepreneur. You have to figure out when you take your wallet out and put your capital or your time, where are you going to get your bang for the buck? That's the question. And at Nokia, we realize that. So what are we doing in Nokia? We understand India is such an incredible opportunity for 2 reasons. One, it's fragmented. There are tens of millions, over 45 to 50 million micro, small to medium entrepreneurs in the country. And everything is fragmented. Every transaction is less than $0.50 average. What an incredible opportunity. What if you build a business that has a bunch of services on a mobile phone that connects 1 million kiranas? You will be larger than Walmart. At Nokia, we want to do that. We want to partner to change the industry, not the software. So we're picking a few sectors like education and governance and healthcare and critical sectors to the economy. But what we're also doing is we're not just limiting our experiences to here. For example, a friend of mine, she's the managing director of MIT India program based in Boston. And now we're talking about bringing some very disruptive technologies out of MIT for India. We're doing the same with a friend of mine who's the director of the Stanford Peace Innovation Lab. We're doing the same thing for India, Israel. So now what Nokia in India is doing, we're reaching out not just in India, but across the world. And we're asking anybody with anything disruptive to come and build. And the best part is they're coming by the dozen. We've never seen this before. So India has become truly something that is unimaginable, not just for us in the room. A lot of people outside the room will believe it, sometimes more than we do. And we think that's the opportunity we want to scale. Let's look at what we've done. Look at India. If we're so fragmented, half the time, somebody asked me the other day, he said, Gerard, do you use Bing or do you use Google? I said, no, I just stop on the road and ask somebody. It's easier. Because in India, search is social. Somebody will come and ask you, hey, can you tell me where the restroom is? Hey, where's the hall? Where's the speaker? You see? Search is social. Turn that into an opportunity. So we believe that by bringing in location as a base infrastructure and platform at Nokia, we spend a few $1 billion in it, we believe that is the kind of experiences we want to bring to consumers, to businesses. Why are we extending our entire business with Microsoft? What happens when you connect a company that has over 1 billion PCs and over 1.5 billion mobiles? You cover 4.5 billion people. That's a lot of people. And what we want to do is bring that experience. But why is location important for a country like India? Because every single point is not connected to the economy. That is the first opportunity for you. If you understand this slide, you're probably going to build a business tomorrow morning, if not today. And Nokia will be more than happy to partner to invest and see what you guys can do. How do we do that? We want to understand how do you connect the phone to consumers in the real world. Somebody asked me a question at my interview, why are you joining Nokia? And I said, for me, this is my personal opinion, the battle for the internet and the battle for the mobile will be fought offline, not online and not on the mobile. That's why Flipkart is a good company. That's why Redbus is a good company, because you're connecting intermediaries, brick and mortar. So everything that's going digital must connect the brick and mortar. That is the greatest asset you can ever have, which is why I talked a lot of business school executives and students in academia, and everyone I talked to has ever read the Amul case study. Everyone has read the Dabawala case study in Mumbai. Where is the second Amul in India? Where is the second Dabawala of Mumbai? Because brick and mortar's competitive advantage is not replicable. I want to tell you something. Picasso said, good artists borrow and great artists steal. And if you look at every successful company, every single entrepreneur in the entire industry, it was never theirs. Bill Gates never invented his operating system. He bought it for $50,000 from 10 miles down the road. Steve Jobs he learned his lesson from Bill, so he took 3 patents from a company called Creative Labs and they built an iPod. When Creative Labs said, hey, this is mine, he said, okay, here's $100 million, keep the change. We're a $200 billion company. When Google and Larry Page, when looking to build a software, they just took a piece of paper from the US PDO, written in the 60s on search, and adapted. We have Google. So the idea here, don't try and be the inventor. Take somebody else's invention. You don't have to steal it, but take somebody's invention and be better. That is the innovation. I mean, lots of people who say, I've got 15 patents, and ask them, how many $1 billion do you have? And they say, oh, I haven't made $1 million yet. So it's like a famous story. When Larry Ellison came out of a meeting with the CIA 30 years ago, and Bob Myers, his partner, asked me, he says, hey, we've never built a database. He says, how do I know? I'm just a sales guy. So when they went back to the room, they photocopied a paper called The Principles of Relational Database by Ted Codd. Ted Codd invented a relational database. He died a very poor man, but very famous. Larry Ellison is one of the world's top 5 richest men, runs a company called Oracle. So a photocopy created a $60 billion company. So there's a lesson here. I want to ask you to start photocopying articles. All I'm saying, at Nokia we realized that, and India represents that kind of opportunity. The scale to mimic is unimaginable. We want to focus on that. Look at some of the statistics. Unimaginable. Where in the world can you get this data? We started a registration program, and we are stunned. We just crossed 100 million overnight. We started now to plug in operator billing, and we're covering the world. Some countries are not on the map for multiple reasons. We'll get there. The last is the Arctic and the Antarctic, but we'll get there. But what's very important is that now with operator billing, you can build an app or a business or a software that gets monetized for a few 100 million people here in India. I'd like you to take a look at this slide and look at it for a second, because I think it's very important. This is an India, very India-specific slide. These numbers, they're not small. What we want to do is disrupt this. We want to change this, change the game. So we're looking to find people with the best ideas. The best ideas. Like somebody asked me the other day, he says, Gerard, why do we don't have 400,000 or 500,000 apps? I said, because we're a socially responsive company. We don't want to get created. We don't want to create such a large inventory that we have to write a search algorithm that's not page rank, but that's app rank. Because how do you get discovered? We want to build experiences that matter to people, to consumers, and businesses. Okay? So we're doing something very simple. We're partnering with Microsoft so we can reach a very simple business. And with the Windows 8 launch that's coming up, you'll go from every single experience, from your tablet to your phone to your PC to your cloud, in the same experience. We're focusing on the next billion. We're probably the only company that's focusing on the next billion as a serious investment of capital. Why? We believe it. And the third is we want to disrupt the future, except we want to do it yesterday. So we want people who have the great ideas. I've stood here multiple times and delivered multiple lectures. But this time I'm asking you guys, if you really believe you're disruptive, we're very keen to put our entire company behind you. Not just software and capital, but the company. With Microsoft, we're very clear. We're going end to end. So you can go from one end to the other in the same pipe. All right? We understand experiences are everything, so we're focusing on how we can take the mobile phone and change the entire GDP. We're talking about the GDP now because we want to really change the game. It's not about the software. It's not about the infrastructure. It's not about the tech. So we've started. We started getting people asking us today, hey, we'll partner with you, we'll put our capital, and can we take our business and change the game? We're bringing the global expertise to it, and very important. We want to stay focused on what you do, all right? And we're very clear where we want to go. And that's really, I think, at the heart of this innovation. And as far as what we want to do at Nokia, Microsoft, is find the best ideas, the best entrepreneurs, the best companies, the best of everything. And it doesn't have to be in one room, but we want to put them into one ecosystem. Very important. We're not interested if you can write a software and send it out. We don't want that. We want to sit with you and ask you, hey, how can we make that a business? How can we work this so that it actually grows and scales? How can we do this, and how can we do that better? Because that means we have to invest our capital. Very simple. We want to be locally relevant. So if somebody's sitting in the room building something for India, we're interested. If you're building something for the US or for Europe, we'll get you connected to our counterparts in the market because that's important. Okay? So we believe three things. The social is the phone book, small is big, and governance is going mobile. I want to show you a demo. Maybe I can bring it up and skip the video for a second. I want to show you something interesting. We have a developer in Bangalore, a technology company, that's actually built an ATV that's running from a mobile phone. We're talking about the future of automobiles, the future of agriculture, the future of military and defense. And excuse me, can you have them bring it up, please? We're talking about the future of the mobile phone controlling a live infrastructure. Imagine a farmer today can, with Nokia maps, can actually say, I don't need labor, and here is an ATV that can run from a mobile phone. Here is an ATV that can actually enable border security, military intelligence, bomb detection, you name it. Here is a vehicle that you can connect, sitting on an IP address that runs it. And I think this is where we are. The product is out there, and I encourage you to go and talk to these guys. They're really available. And I really want you to go and see what the kind of disruptive innovation we're funding. I thank you very much for your time. I like to keep my time when I speak. I believe we're at 20 minutes and 45 seconds at this point in time. My mind tells me that. So thank you very much. Pleasure.